This week, the Confederacy advances and the Union repulses. First action this week is on the 5th in the Dakota Territory. Fort Abercrombie is under attack again. Well, the night of the 5th, a band of 125 to 130 Native American warriors inched towards the fortress. They are led by someone. The defenders say it was Sweetcorn, a leader of the Sisseton. The Sisseton deny any involvement. Colonel John Vanderhorck has Company B of the 6th Minnesota and 3 12-pounder howitzers. Despite this strength in artillery, he lacks strength in the numbers of men and bullets he has. At daybreak on the 6th, Company B is attacked heavily. The warband concentrates specifically on the stables, taking them over. The Minnesotans fire into the stable for 10 minutes before they are able to retake it. After this first repulse, the Sioux encircle the fort, attack it from all sides. The artillerists of the fort are the saviors of the day for the defenders, as their barrage breaks any grouping of assaulters. Near the commissary, the warband pushes the defenders back. But after the fort's guards regroup, the attackers are repulsed. This action cost 2 men dead of the company and 1 wounded. The Dakota's losses are unknown. Some say 20 dead. No matter the number, though, no further charges are planned. Hork sends out messengers, and they reach someone, Governor Alexander Ramsey, who orders a relief party to be sent to Abercrombie. The same day, further development in the Northwest, specifically the creation of the Department of the Northwest. The department comprises Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, the Dakota Territory, and the Nebraska Territory. The head of the department is in St. Paul, Minnesota, if there was a head of the department. No one has been given the command, until the 7th, when Major General John Pope is given control. This is a clear sign his career is over. The man will spend over a week to get to cold St. Paul, where he will have all the glory of an administrator. But back to the 6th. The Army of Northern Virginia moves into Frederick, Maryland, the first major Union city to fall to the Confederacy. No, the Newberry raid doesn't count. The Union is in hot pursuit, while also trying to reform. Major General George B. McClellan is back in full control. He's having a hard time bringing the fighting spirit back into the men, getting them ready for another battle, and finding a way to deal with both the Army of the Potomac and the Army of Virginia. Lasting on the 6th, a battle in Tennessee at Clarksville. Colonel William W. Lowe of the Union has 1,100 men made up of detachments of cavalry, infantry, and artillery. Colonel Thomas Woodward has the 2nd Kentucky Cavalry Regiment of 700 rebels. The Union deploys skirmishers and pushes the Confederates out of New Providence. On the 7th, Lowe deploys on Riggins Hill. He sets up artillery and begins to bombard Woodward, who is taking cover in Clarksville. After 45 minutes, the Union advances and sends the Confederates running. Because they were taking cover, the Kentucky cavalry was dismounted. The Union cavalry pursues, wreaking havoc on the retreating horsemen. It's a resounding Federal victory. The Confederates lost 17 dead, 40 wounded, and 50 captured. The Union losses are negligible, or to my belief, non-existent. The U.S. reclaims the Cumberland River. This week is too short, and I have a feeling next week won't be. So let's get some preparation done. Full General Robert.E.Lee has the Army of Northern Virginia, split up into 3 commands, which I will call corps, even though they are not officially designated as such. 2 infantry and 1 cavalry. First is Major General James Longstreet, who has 5 divisions. The first is Major General Lafayette McLaws, currently marching towards Stonewall Jackson. The second is Major General Richard H. Anderson's division. Anderson is a veteran of the Mexican-American, Indian, and Utah Wars. The third is Brigadier General David R. Jones' division. Jones is a West Point graduate, veteran of the Mexican-American War, and doesn't have a lot of fame. Brigadier General John Walker has a division and is currently on the march to Jackson. Brigadier General John Bell Hood leads the 5th and last of Longstreet's divisions. Hood has fame from the charge at Gaines Mill, and is loved by his men. He has developed a rivalry with Brigadier General Nathan Shanks Evans, who is part of Longstreet's command as an independent brigade. Hood is currently under arrest by Evans, though he has ordered him to stick with his command. Longstreet also commands artillery, split under the command of 2 colonels, each with a battery. Major General Thomas J. Jackson commands the next portion of Confederate forces. Major General Richard Ewell was seriously wounded, so his division is currently being led by Brigadier General Alexander Lawton. The next force is Major General Ambrose P. Hill's Light Division, or veterans of the Valley Campaign. The 3rd Division is Jackson's division, led by Brigadier General John R. Jones, who has no military experience before the war, but has been with Jackson since the start of it, serving in the Stonewall Brigade since its creation. Lastly, there is Major General Daniel H. Hill's division, which is not with Jackson, but is instead with Lee, forming the rear guard of Longstreet's force. There is also artillery directly under Lee, but the last major grouping is Major General Jeb Stuart's Cavalry Division. Lee is low on men and low on supply, but his men's experience and morale are skyrocketing. The Old Virginian is betting that the back-to-back losses in the Peninsula and Northern Virginia has disintegrated his opposition, but he is wrong. Major General George B. McClellan has 2 armies, but since he's planning on merging them tomorrow, and there's no real opposition to it, I'll just cover his plan as if it already happened. The 3rd Corps of the Army of Virginia is reverted back to the 1st Corps, now led by Major General Joseph Hooker. After the second defeat at Bull Run, McDowell was sacked. Or will be. The 1st Division is Brigadier General Abner Doubledays, a veteran of both the Mexican-American and Seminole Wars. The 2nd Division is Brigadier General James Ricketts, who served with Doubleday in Mexico and also in Florida. The final division is Brigadier General George G. Meade, Seminole and Mexican, yeah. Did you know this man was an inventor? He invented a new lamp for lighthouses. How cool is that? Noticeably absent from the Corps is Reynolds, who has returned to Pennsylvania under the asking of its governor to bring 50,000 militia to. Up next is the 2nd Corps under Major General Edwin Sumner, a man who I'm surprised is just a corps commander. A veteran of the Black Hawk, Mexican, and Indian Wars, was active during Bleeding Kansas, well liked by President Abraham Lincoln, was a regular brigadier general before the war, an honor shared by only 2 other men. I don't know why he isn't being given more of a command. He has 3 divisions, Major General Israel Richardson's, Major John Sedgwick's, and Brigadier General William French's, all Seminole and Mexican-American War veterans. Sedgwick is the most interesting out of them, having been with Sumner in Bleeding Kansas, fought the Shawnee with him. The 3rd Corps is back in D.C. They have suffered greatly in Virginia and need to be reinforced and rested. The 4th Corps is in the Peninsula. Brigadier General Erasmus D. Keyes was the only one of the major commanders left behind, and he lost Major General Darius Couch's division. He was also the only corps commander not promoted. He isn't even part of the Army of the Potomac, being attached to the Department of Virginia. So, we go to the 5th Corps, which is under Major General Fitz-John Porter, who was fired and now rehired to the position by McClellan. 1st Division belongs to Major General George Morrell, a West Point graduate who spent the last decade as a colonel of New York's militia. The 2nd Division, Brigadier General George Sykes, West Point grad, veteran of the same wars as everyone else, but he was the only divisional commander not promoted. Brigadier General Andrew A. Humphrey has the last division. Humphrey is a distinguished engineer, having served as chief engineer since 1838. He is also a top scientist and known throughout the world, also West Point graduate and Seminole War veteran. The 6th Corps is led by Major General William B. Franklin, a West Point grad, Mexican-American War veteran, and engineer. Major General Henry W. Slocum, 1st Divisional Commander, is a West Point grad, Seminole War veteran, and the 2nd youngest man to become Major General in the Union's history. Major General William F. Smith controls the 2nd Division and last of the corps, West Point grad, and later math professor. The 7th and 8th Corps are in different departments. On to the 9th Corps. It's led by Major General Ambrose P. Burnside, veteran of the Mexican-American War, failed politician, and manufacturer, until his factory was burned down. 1st Division is Brigadier General Orlando B. Wilcox's, West Point grad, veteran of the Maine Wars. Brigadier General Samuel D. Sturgis controls the 2nd Division, West Point grad, Mexican veteran, and a Western Theater commander, having fought under Nathaniel Lyon. I miss him. Brigadier General Isaac P. Rodman, a Rhode Island politician, controls the 3rd Division. Colonel Elcam P. Skimmon is head of the Kanawha Division, West Point, Seminole, and Mexican-American War veteran, closing out the Corps. The 10th Corps is off the coast of Florida, and the 11th Corps is resting with the 3rd Corps in D.C. So, lastly is the 12th Corps, led by Major General Joseph K. Williams, a man who entered West Point at only age 14, graduated second in his class, was made colonel in Mexico, and later inspector general of the army. What am I doing with my life? He has 2 divisions. Brigadier General Alpheus S. Williams, commands the 1st, a Yale alum and veteran of the Mexican-American War. The 2nd Division is for General George S. Green's, a West Point grad who was 2nd in his class but chose artillery instead of engineering. He later resigned his commission to be a civil engineer, where he built railroads. There's also artillery in this corps under neither of their commands. Separate from the corps, there is cavalry, led by Brigadier General Alfred Pleasanton, West Point grad, Mexican-American War veteran. McClellan has between the 6 corps, Major General Darius Couch's division, and cavalry, over 100,000 men. He has divided this 100,000 men into 3 wings. Major General Ambrose Burnside has the right wing with the 1st and 9th Corps. Major General Edwin Sumner has the center wing with the 2nd and 12th Corps. The 5th Corps is in reserves. Left wing is Major General William B. Franklin with the 6th and Major General Darius Couch's division. McClellan outnumbers Lee 2-1, but those include those in Harper's Ferry. He only, and I'm using that word in the most relative of ways, has 87,000 men marching, a giant numerical advantage, but he believes Lee has 120,000 men, a ridiculous number that makes no sense. Then there are Sickles. As I said earlier, Hooker is now a corps commander in the Army of the Potomac. But who takes over his division? Has there ever been an answer so obvious? Brigadier General Daniel Sickles no longer just leads a brigade. His career is on the rise as his friend Hooker gets promoted, and the Excelsior Brigade proves its strength. That's where the week ends, and it ends with a surprise. The Union is able to survive the defeat at Second Bull Run, able to repulse the Dakota, and able to end the bleeding in Tennessee and Kentucky. But it's still in danger. The enemy is not just at the gates, but has entered them. But there is hope. I shall see you next week, when it will be decided if this war continues. Hello, it's the entire Civil War Week by Week team here, and I'm pleased to announce I have created a Patreon. I'd like to thank Kevin Mack, who has already joined it. It means the world to me. I'm not saying that you should join. This entire production will go on without. It's just if you have the money, and only if you have the money, and you would like to give it to me, I would gladly accept it and forever be in your debt. Now for the normal things. If you liked the video, please like it. If you want to tell me how much you liked it, please comment. If you want to check out what has happened last week, you should be seeing that around now. If you really want to understand the war, you should be seeing a playlist about it right now. Thank you all, and I shall see you next week.